fabulous images from yesterday's Grand Prix and Global Champions League, and we're going to be looking at those in a little bit more detail in just a moment. But welcome to Chantilly and our live coverage as we build up towards our final five-star class of the weekend. It is day 3 of competition for the five-star riders, and the final class is will be starting in around about 45 minutes time. It is around about 2:30, 2:45 local time, wherever you are watching around the world on Longines Global Champions Tour television. But as promised, before we build up to that final five-star class, let's reflect on yesterday's action. And there was one man who swept the board, Harrie Smolders. What a day it was yesterday. I'm sure one of the most memorable days, I guess, in your career.
Yeah, definitely. To win the GCL and the GCT, I think doesn't happen so very often.
I bet it doesn't happen very often. I don't think it's ever happened in history that a rider's won both the league and then gone and won the tour. Did you have a good feeling coming into this competition? Emerald feeling extra special at home?
Yeah, he felt really, really good. And I was hoping, of course, for these results. But with the feeling I had at home, I was so confident. And it turned out in the results.
It just makes that bit of difference. There's just such fine margins at the top of the game. What do you think?
Yeah, to make the difference on this level and with these riders and combinations and horses, you need to have something extra.
Well, you certainly had something extra yesterday. How many clear rounds, how many jumps you must have cleared perfectly yesterday? It was, what, 5 over the course of 2 days, 4 over the course of 2 days?
Yeah, he was clear on Friday, and yesterday 3 rounds clear. But it's not the first time. I mean, he does that very often. He's a very, very careful horse, Emerald, and he wants to go clean.
Well, let's look at the league for a little bit first. And you were partnered or pairing up with John Whittaker. Is that the first time you guys have ridden together?
Yeah, first time I'm together with John in the team for the Hamburg Diamonds, and yeah, with John behind you, he's so reliable and he's so good. And that he showed that yesterday again.
Did you? Here he is. This is at the prize giving. How did you guys decide who went first, who went second? Because John, he had the pressure on him right at the end.
Actually, I decided it. He wasn't here yet, and it's not. John is not somebody that phones a lot, I think.
So you didn't discuss it at all with him. You just told him.
We didn't discuss it. I put him just as last.
Age before beauty, was it? There he is, going up to get his prizes. He is a real legend, isn't he? How enjoyable was it, yesterday's victory in the league? Because you've been riding with Joss an awful lot. I mean, you do an awful lot of these leagues.
Yeah, normally I am riding a lot with Joss and with Audrey Coulter, because they both train with me. But now with John, I could totally focus on myself, and with John behind me, with his experience, and he finished it in a super nice way.
It seems to be quite a nice team spirit amongst you guys. You're all friends away from the competition area as well?
Yeah, I think we are also outside the ring. I think we suit each other, and I don't know if that can see in the results, but it's always nicer when there is a good team spirit.
So let's have a look at that final round that John had to jump yesterday. You had 4 faults as a buffer, so you knew that you could have one down. But what was it like watching from the sidelines? It seemed that you and Joss were both riding John's horse around the course as well.
Yeah, it's very nerve-wracking to watch, even way more than to ride, and especially when you cannot have a fence down. It was we were very excited.
Do you find that you're standing there, you're almost trying to lift the horse over as well? You can't help yourself.
Yeah, for sure it doesn't help, but we feel what he feels.
Nerves. I bet John wasn't feeling very nervous.
No, John is he's so cool. Also the way he finished it yesterday, he took his time for it because he knew he could have it. And, yeah, still an amazing rider.
The highs and lows of the sport, because John got unshipped in the Grand Prix after the league. Just goes to show that the horse, none of them are machines, but that horse particularly isn't necessarily the easiest.
Yeah, he jumped very well. He's very scopy, the horse. He needs a little bit motivation. And but I think John can ride anything. He's such an all-round legend in our sport, and he rode so many different horses. And like here you see, motivate him over the oxer, vertical, perfect in balance. The horse here, he takes a little bit time that the horse can breathe a little more. Take him a little bit with air. Trim that vertical with a little room, light. Here again in the perfect position, perfect timing. I think it's hard to see, but like a man like John, as a rider, the closer you come to the top level, then you actually see how good he really is.
He certainly is, and he's been at the top for so long. 61 years of age, it's incredible. And well done to John, well done to you. Let's have a look at the league rankings then, because that victory yesterday also gave you, put some distance between yourselves and last year's champions, Valkenswaard United. So you guys are at top of the league. It's obviously starting to build up towards the end of the season. 5 more events before Doha, 4 more events before Doha, the finale. It's a nice place to be, and good to put a bit of breathing space between you and Valkenswaard.
Yeah, I think last year we had also a bit the same battle between United and the Diamonds. This year again. But now we took the lead. Last year it was not possible for us to take once the lead. So, but still 1/3 of the competitions are coming. So we still have a long way to go.
Do you feel in a better position this time around then? Do you feel that you've got some better results behind you?
Yeah, I think, and I think also our team, our horses, we have. I think we're in a better position than last year. It is no guarantee for the final, but I feel we have a good team.
And a team that, as you were talking about, will get on very well away from the competition. It would make it a very sweet success if you can go and keep hold of this lead right through to the end.
Yeah, okay, but that's the sport, and it will change again. But I think if you want to be in the league successful, like we focus ourselves on the team, on the league, just so we don't go for the individual ranking of the class. First, the team result is important, and I think that's why we are strong. And 2, I think we have quite a lot of horsepower in our team.
Knowing then that you've got the Longines Global Champions Tour, and of course you're leading that, we'll have a look at the rankings in a moment. How do you approach that league round, knowing that you're hoping to go through to the Grand Prix? I mean, for you as an individual rider, do you approach it any differently?
Yeah, of course I always go first for the team result, but back in my head is also to qualify for the Grand Prix. So if I go a little bit more towards the end, I know what I have to do to qualify myself for the Grand Prix. So that can change my strategy a little bit, because if I see that there are some 4-faulters, I look to the times and I estimate a little bit with what result you come in the second round, and I just try to do better than that.
No need yesterday, no faults at all. Let's look ahead then, look at the Longines Global Champions Tour, the Grand Prix there, top 25 riders after the team competition went through, and it was a course that certainly caused a lot of trouble. You were one of just 4 riders to make it through to the jump-off. Let's have a look then at where the faults came in that Grand Prix course.
This is no doubt sort of a scary moment, not for him, but for the...
That certainly caused a fair bit of trouble. The faults were spread all around. But Harry, interesting course. What did you make of it? And it had the water fence in it, and it did cause a bit of problems amongst these top riders and horses.
Yeah, always the water fence is a difficulty, and if it's not the water itself, it's the fence before or after. You have to have a horse that's obedient, and that often cause difficulties.
So you got through to the jump-off alongside Scott Brash, Philippe Rosier and Carlos Lopez. We're just having a look at your jump-off round. You were second into the arena. Philippe Rosier had already gone clear and set a reasonable time. Were you confident that you could beat him? But I guess you had your eyes on who was coming after you.
Yeah, of course I had in my back head, in the back of my head, the two that came after me. Carlos is also a really fast horse. And then, of course, Scott. His horse is naturally so fast, and Scott is also a specialist in jump-offs. But I had a good start, and then I think I made it in the next turn. I catch the stride out there, and if you see also the head-to-head, I think that's where I made it up.
What's Emerald like in a jump-off?
He's maybe not the fastest horse in the world, but okay, on this heights, on 160 heights, he's more than fast enough. And I think the jump-off went very smooth for us. Here also the 9 steady strides to the double. Every step a little forward, and then also in this turn, short turn, even out of the turn, I could move up a little bit.
When you get the jump-off course, what's an ideal jump-off course for Emerald? Is it something with lots of turns, or do you prefer more of a galloping one?
Yeah, I think he wants to gallop a little bit. Too many turns are probably not too good, but on a field like this and you have space, then I think he's best.
So you crossed the line. You obviously finished faster than Philippe Rosier. Did you think it was fast enough, knowing Scott was still to come?
No, I thought I left a little gap for Scott when I came out, but then when Carlos came and he was already slower, I didn't see his round, and then I watched Scott, and then when I see him coming after the double, I think he's not going to make it, and then he had to wait a waiting distance to the last, and then we won.
You certainly did win. Let's have a look at the split screen to find out exactly where you were faster, because there was over a second in it in the end, which was quite a large margin for these jump-offs. But see if you can see where the turns and the areas that you caught up the time. I mean, Scott Brash's horse, Hello Forever's very quick against the clock, but he often seems to spend a lot of time in the air, which I guess you don't. Is hard then to make up those vital few seconds.
Okay, level at the moment.
Yeah, I think we had a little bit the same start. You will see at number 2 we are exactly the same. But to the next fence, I turn a little shorter, take 1 stride less, and there is where Scott balanced a little bit more, went the turn a little bit wider, and I think if you see then the rest of the course, he cannot catch up anymore.
Yeah, you're well ahead there, aren't you? And just 1 more final turn and then a gallop to the last. So what's that feeling like then? You can see Scott cross the finish line, not fast enough. Enjoyable victory yesterday.
I do have a lot of respect for Scott, and he's a really true horseman, and he has his management and horsemanship. I think we like each other's way, how we manage our horses, and I have a lot of respect for him, but at the end, I'm still pleased that I'm in front of him.
Yeah, enjoy that moment on the top spot of the podium. His second time in the day, so yeah, you made that top spot your own.
Yeah, okay, all the credits to my horse, Emerald. He was fantastic. He was outstanding this weekend. I think that made a difference.
And an enthusiastic crowd that really got behind you as well.
A fantastic crowd here, full tribune, and I must say, every time the Grand Prix of the Global gives us top sport, and with 4 or 5 in the jump-off is very, very good. I was already 2 times in the jump-off this year with Emerald, but we weren't so lucky yet, but I had the feeling it would come.
Well,
I had to stay patient.
It did, it certainly did come. A wonderful victory in what was a really competitive class. And that victory then, like the league, means that you put some distance in between yourself and second place in the overall Longines Global Championship Tour rankings. Let's have a look at them, because you've got a really good lead now, 247 points it is. What's the plans then? How many more of these Global Champions Tour events do you think you'll do for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I will try to do them all. I don't know which horses, depends what I have the best feeling, how they feel. Where I put which horse. Definitely I made a good step yesterday, but also I am the only one with 8 results, and the other ones are with 6 results. So it gives a little bit.
You've got a bit of an advantage at the top there because all your scores are counting,
Count.
and you're going to be dropping scores next time. So you've got to improve on your...
Now I can look to my lowest scores and try to improve them.
Well, you're on 147 points, and I just looked at what you need to win it. I think last year Rolf had you're on 247, Rolf had 283 last year. The year before that, Luciano had 288. So if you go by that, then yeah, you do need to improve some of those lower scores.
Yeah, okay. Probably the luck is that that Casal is not there anymore. Because he was always so far in front, top 5 finish and podium finishes. It could be that this year the winner is a little lower in points. But we have to see. Definitely I will have to improve my drop scores.
You were 5th last year. How much would it mean to you if you can win it this year?
Yeah, I don't want to look that far ahead. I mean, I'm really enjoying the moment that I'm in the lead. My horses feel great now, both Don and Emerald. But my management and my focus will stay on my horses and try to keep them fit and in a good shape as possible. And then we will see at the end of the tour.
We will see 5 more events then in this season's Longines Global Champions Tour.